Well, hi there. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, but you can call me Pajama Grandma. In case we haven't met yet, go ahead and put a hashtag pajama in the comments below. I especially like to know when new people catch me on this particular Facebook Live or catch me on the podcast replay of this because it's my personal journey and journal of what I am doing as I transition from the corporate America, brick and mortar businesses, really traditional world of business and life, and living like most of us are raised to think that we should live, to something that I'm choosing. Creating businesses online, creating my Pajama Grandma lifestyle, and helping other business owners to create the life that they want, the life that most of us started our business for in the first place. Most of us, I believe, and maybe it's just me, started our own business or took that leap of faith and had our own business on the side. I wasn't that leap of faithy. I worked in corporate America for 25 years while I ran my business or businesses on the side. So, how big a leap of faith is that? I say, we take a leap of faith and we're overnight successes, but I did that for a quarter century. I did that for 25 years. I worked in corporate America while I built my businesses on the side. So, how scary really was that leap of faith? Well, it was pretty scary because I lost my job and there was a lot going on in my family's life at that time. And, everybody's journey is different. But to me, it was still really scary because my husband had lost his job too. And making that decision to go and just work on the businesses, even though they'd been going on for about 15 years. One of the businesses had been successfully running for about, probably 15 years at that point, at least 10 or 15 years. So people might say, well, how big of a leap of faith really was that? You already knew you had a successful business going on the side. Yes, but that successful business didn't make enough money to support all of the primaries' families at that time. And so we needed to make massive changes to create and grow that business so that it could support my family in addition to that. So it was a big leap of faith for me, but again, each of our leaps of faith is different for one of us. I mean, I like to tell my kids who are not morning people that the hardest thing you do every single day is to get out of bed, to propel yourself to get out of bed, because it's that first decision of every day that makes all the difference. So I learned a long time ago that the first time that alarm clock goes off, I bolt out of bed. Now, for me, that's not always bolting, but I get up immediately. I don't hit snooze. I don't go back to bed. Now, I will take that back because the other morning, I actually went back to bed for half an hour, but I'd only had like 2 hours sleep. And so I was like, if I want to function and be semi-coherent at all today, I need to sleep for another half hour. Now, I only went back to bed for a half an hour, and that half hour flew by. Isn't that amazing? When the more you hit the snooze, the faster time goes. So I learned a long time ago, just get up and get moving. Even if I'm tired, if I get up my giant head-sized cup of coffee, if I get my lemon or lime water, if I get my morning drinks and start my day, I'm always better off than if I lay in bed. Because then, if I lay in bed, and then I'm rushing to start my day, and I'm beating myself up because I didn't get up on time, and I'm always feeling like I'm behind for the whole day. So I set myself up for success by hopping out of bed, or I set myself up for failure and frustration. And not failure and frustration in anyone else's mind, but in my own mind. And frankly, how we feel about ourselves is the only thing that matters. It takes a long time to come to terms with that. Today, what am I doing? I should probably talk about what I'm doing with respect to business, not just ramble on aimlessly. I am cleaning up and tidying up my Facebook group. I just started a Facebook group called Supersize Your Business to help business owners go from wherever they are right now to where they want to be in a supersized, super quick, efficient way. And that sounds super duper broad. I know I'm working on narrowing that down. But I do work with all different type businesses and all different size business owners. I mean, I've worked with CEOs of corporations, big, not little corporations, big corporations. And, somebody just starting out being a solopreneur in a network marketing company or being a coach. So it runs the gamut. And I know I need to narrow that down because I can't speak to everybody. We all know that what we can teach people can help everybody, but if we're not speaking to particularly a narrow group of people, we won't attract anybody. That's just with respect to marketing. I'm learning all these cool things about marketing this year. I actually hate to admit it, but back in the day, a long, long time ago, back in the dark ages when I went to college, I actually got an engineering, a management, and a marketing degree. I liked college. I love learning. I'm a lifelong learner, and so I loved going to college. I loved going to school and learning. And I actually felt like I was going through withdrawal for about a decade every August when I didn't go back to college. It was the weirdest feeling. But I replaced that with just, I'm always reading. I'm even with, my handy dandy magnifying glass. But I have my Kindle too. And the thing I loved about a Kindle, I actually, probably one of the hardest years of my life was after my sudden cardiac arrest, it triggered eye problems that I hadn't had for a really long time. And I couldn't see, hardly at all. And I went about a year that I couldn't read, and it was terrible. I could listen to things, but I couldn't read. And the kids gave me this Kindle for Christmas. And the coolest thing about the Kindle is you can make the fonts really, really big. Now your hand gets tired because you're going like this all the time, but I could actually read again for the first time in a year. And it made me so happy because it was something I loved to do, but I wasn't really able to physically do it for about a year. Now, I could have learned Braille, almost learned Braille in my 20s, but I don't want to go down that road. I don't want to admit that my eyesight could be a challenge for me forever. Now I use tools that work. I use a magnifying glass, I use the Kindle, and I do what I can do. So today I'm working on that group, and I learned this from Landon Porter, and I think he's probably the first one to do it, but there's a lot of us. He teaches a course in it, so there's a lot more people doing it now, and there's a lot of people copying and modeling, not copying, but modeling what he's doing with his group, and it's fantastic. It's one of my favorite groups. It's called Getting Clients Without Being Salesy, and I'm attracted to it because I'm a freaking engineer. I am not at all salesy, and even in my businesses over the years, the vast majority, not all, but the vast majority of our clients and customers, it was a Italian food manufacturing B2B company. So our clients actually had to contact me for us to sell our products to them. That's how anti-salesy I was. And, that came from a lot of years in corporate America of working with salespeople that weren't necessarily of the highest integrity. I adopted and created a training about how to under-promise and over-deliver as a salesperson because as a quality vice president, I spent like 50% of my time collecting for the big organizations that I worked for from some of the biggest companies in the world. Because our sales people would go out and our sales division would go out and they would promise these Fortune 10 companies that we could do things that we were not technologically capable of doing. And I really adopted and ingrained in my being the belief that you have got to way over deliver for people. You have got to. You cannot promise them things that you are not capable of because that ruins your credibility. And that's all you've really got with people is your trust and honesty and integrity. And I know a lot of business people don't believe that, but if you're listening to me, you probably do. And I just learned that, it's kind of like lying. Really, if you're lying, you can fool some of the people, but you can never fool yourself because you always know you're lying. So why would you do that? I don't get it. And that I have the same feeling about over-promising things. Telling people, that's to me lying. It's like telling people that you can do things that you can't do. If you can do it, you can do it. Awesome. Help them with what you can do because we all can do so many amazing things. But if you think you have to embellish and lie, it just doesn't work. It always catches up with you. Again, a rant, an aside that has nothing to do with what I'm doing. I don't even know how I got down that tangent. I better have a drink of coffee to put me back on track. So be yourself, be honest, be true. And the people that are attracted to you will be attracted to you. The people that aren't, they just won't. And there's almost 8 billion of us on the planet. There's plenty of people to go around. So let's hang out with the people that love us, and let's love the people that we hang out with, and just leave the rest alone. We don't have to criticize and judge and be mean to or rotten to anybody else in the world. Just ignore them. Just let them do themselves. Let them be themselves. And then you just be yourself. That has really become my overriding way of being these days, especially this year. This year, I decided consciously, sort of subconsciously, sort of slowly, that I was going to embrace who I am as the Pajama Grandma. I'm excited about building my life online and creating things online and being able to make a bigger impact on the world than I ever could have in my businesses that I was running previously. I made an impact on lots of people, like probably thousands and thousands of people, but not 100,000 people. It was a 35-year business, so we probably impacted 100,000 lives, let's be honest. But not in a way on purpose like I want to now. So I'm working on that. I am working on Expert Secrets. I'm on a difficult, challenging part for me because I'm typing up a script, and I need to use my magnifying glass to check things, and it takes me a long time, and my eyes get tired typing on the computer. My eye gets tired. The left eye doesn't do much, so it doesn't get very tired. I let it act like it does, but it really doesn't. So I'm typing up a script for the people that I'm teaching and coaching through this book to use in creating their presentation or their webinar, or however they're going to decide to share their message with the world. And I'm doing it also for myself for Supersize Your Business. So it's a double activity in that I have to create and come up with and think about it in a general term and leave blanks for people to fill in. And I also have to create it for my own Supersize Your Business and what I'm doing with that. So I'm working on that. I'm sure I will have at least 1 or 2 coaching students contact me today, even though it's Father's Day, and need some help or coaching on something. I found that I'm doing a lot of detailed, technical, which is hilarious for me, technical online how to do things coaching lately with my individual coaching students. And I find it fascinating because I'm going to tell you the truth. I only started in earnest doing things online about a year, and it was probably February of 2017 when I got involved and signed on to become a certified partner and learn how to do that with ClickFunnels, which is an incredible software tool. If you haven't heard of it, oh my God, totally changed my life in terms of I could be the Pajama Grandma. I can be the Pajama Grandma because I've learned in a year and a half, I've become a certified partner. I've learned all these technical skills. You know how when you first learn something and get certified, you're like, you don't really feel like you know how to do stuff? But I actually know how to do a lot of stuff with respect to that. And I suppose if I could be an engineer, why would I think I couldn't learn how to do things online and be good at it? But that isn't really what I do. I like doing it, and I like coaching people through it, but I don't want to do that for people as a way of making a living. I love coaching people through it and showing them how to do it and teaching. I'd rather teach groups how to do it, and I don't even really want to teach groups how to do it because there's tutorials and things out there that if people are a little bit ingenuitive and show a little initiative, they can go out and find those things. But the reason I help my coaching students with it is that's why I'm their coach, is to help them get the shortcut to the answers that they're seeking. And I will tell you, if you've never had a coach before, they do, if you get a good coach. I've had both. I've had mostly awesome coaches, but I've had a few that overpromised and underdelivered, which reinforced to me all the more my belief in how important that is in the way I operate. And like I said, you can find a lot of people out in the universe that don't operate that way, but that's how I choose to operate. But a good coach will help you with the thing that you need and get you to that really, really fast. Get you to the end result you want really, really fast. And if they don't, they're the wrong coach for you. And that usually happens when you have a coach that is trying to teach you how to do something that they have never done. Now, there's a lot of controversy in the coaching industry, apparently, over some coaches, usually those that have never done what they're coaching on, believe that a good coach can be a coach whether they've done it or not. And they'll give you a sports example of, well, this amazing coach has never been an Olympic gymnast. They've never won an Olympic gold medal as a gymnast, but they're an awesome coach. And that might not be the right sport. I'm not really good at sports analogies, so don't anybody beat me up about this. And I'm sure there are a few of those and that is true, but the vast majority, I'm going to say 99, if not 99.99% of coaches that suck because they actually have not done what that is that they're coaching people to do. If I have never run a successful business, if I have never started my own business, if I have never done, if I've never done that, I'm going to stand up on my own 2 feet in my own pedestal and say, if you've never frickin' done that, what makes you think you should be able to coach people on doing that? Now, I'm learning in the online world, which is very new to me. I've been dabbling in, come on, I've known about the internet since it was invented. I'm an engineer, so I'm always on the edge of learning technology and things, but I did never believe that I would do anything in it until about a year and a half ago. And again, I dabbled and had coaches and did little things. The coaches I've had were awesome, and they taught me how to do the little specific thing I wanted to do at the time. So, for example, I wrote a book. I did an audio book. I've got those things online. I think my audiobook's still on Amazon, and it's so old it's back on real estate. So, and I haven't been in real estate since, 2010. So that's a long time ago. That's a long time. That's a really long time. Wow, time flies and you totally forget about it. So I haven't done anything in that for a long time, but I wasn't a coach in it. I had coaches in it. Now I could have coached because my ex-husband and I were actually out doing it. We had 5 real estate companies at the time. So I could totally be a real estate coach. I don't want to be, but I know that I could totally be a real estate coach. But how many people, especially in the internet marketing world, are out marketing and teaching and coaching people how to be real estate coaches, and they've never freaking done it? Now, they're struggling, a lot of them, because they've never done it. But the really successful real estate coaches are those that are out there doing it every single day. They're still in the game doing it and teaching other people to do what they're doing. Those are the really, super successful guru real estate coaches. And it's true in any industry. And I have no idea why I got off on this tangent, except it irritates me because it reminds me of the college professors that we learn from and that our children are paying tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn from, that are teaching theory, teaching things that they've never actually experienced. And there again, the best college professors I had were in the business arena, and they were the ones that actually were out working in corporate America or living and having their own businesses, that were coming in and teaching us students. And this was as I was an older student. They were teaching us real world, how it works in the real world, because what these folks write in books is awesome, right? But it doesn't always translate to what we need to do in real life. I think that we've all read books like that, yeah, wow, that sounds awesome, but if I try to apply that, I'm going to get punched in the face. And I don't know, I never got physically actually punched in the face in my corporate career or in my businesses, but I definitely got metaphorically punched in the face, beat over the head, knocked down. I actually even almost got my throat cut once because of business and the environment and things that can happen around us. And that would be a major health event I had as a result of all the stress that was related to some of those businesses, and one of those businesses in particular. Now, I feel that qualifies me to talk about a whole lot of things because I've actually experienced them. I just think we're much more powerful and we're much more impactful, and we can really help more people if we're talking about what we actually know and have experienced. And again, we got to remember that our experience of something is going to be totally different than someone else's experience of it. I think of health challenges. I've had a lot of health challenges in my life. I pretty much ignore them and downplay them, but I've had a lot of them. And so I feel like I can talk to people that have had major health challenges in their life because I've had some. I've had a bunch. Now, I know a ton of people that have had a lot more health challenges and a lot worse health challenges than me, and have had a lot tougher roads to recuperate from than I have. But of course, there's a lot of people that have had way less health challenges than me, or no health challenges. I've had a lot more business challenges than a lot of people. There's a whole ton of people that have had more business challenges than me. And there's a lot more successful people than me that I think they've just overcome bigger challenges. Now, that doesn't mean I want bigger challenges, bigger business challenges or health challenges to come my way. That's not what I'm saying or asking for. It just means that I know that there's people out there that have experienced things that I can still continue to learn from and grow from, which is why I have my own coaches. I think it's interesting that people coach that don't have coaches. I mean, if you believe in an industry and you are teaching other people to be a coach, how do you not have a coach? Now, I suppose you can take that and you could say, well, most psychiatrists and psychologists don't have psychiatrists and psychologists. I get that. You can take anything I say, please. You can take anything I say and twist it and argue with it if you want. That's awesome. That's your prerogative. But then don't listen to me, because I probably don't have anything to offer you, right? So turn off the radio. Turn off. Okay, I don't know if people even, yeah, we have radios still. If people even listen to radios anymore. Or turn off the Facebook Live, listen to somebody else and something else that you can more relate to. So all of that was an extension of, I'm working on my Expert Secrets coaching program to help people through that. And I'm actually doing what I'm showing them and encouraging them to do. Now, I've done it 6 or 7 times for my own businesses and for myself already with Expert Secrets. And I've coached several organizations and several teams of people to do it for their organizations as well. So I actually feel perfectly qualified and confident that I can teach a group how to do this. And I am teaching a group how to do this. But I'm also, as I'm going through it for the 6th time, this is the 6th time I've read this book. Through the 6th time, I'm noticing that there is stuff that I didn't notice the first 6 times or the first 5 times through the book. And one of the things was that you should write out your script. And I've never written out my script. I've just always talked and done my presentations. Apparently, since I can ramble on so long at this, I don't have a problem talking. So I have never scripted it out. So this time through, I'm typing it on the computer, and I'm scripting the whole thing out. And it's more challenging than I thought it was going to be. It is more challenging to write than talk. And I've always been a writer. I always thought I was a good writer, and I've had a blog for, even though I didn't know how to use the internet and no one reads my blog, I think 43 people. I think I have 43 people that actually subscribe to my blog. And I bless them every day and thank them every day, because I have not been keeping up my blog since I started learning about ClickFunnels. I stopped. I got busy learning, and I was in a learning mode, and it was kind of hard. I'm just going to tell you. It was hard for me because I went from listening to a video or webinar online to jumping into the certification program. And I had never even heard of ClickFunnels. I'd heard of Russell Brunson just in passing over the last decade or so, but I didn't really follow much of what, I noticed him, but I didn't really follow what he did. And I jumped right into that. And it was, since I had had no exposure to it and I was new to the internet in terms of actually doing things in online tasks and marketing. And I'd figured some stuff out over the year. I had a WordPress blog, but I hadn't really figured out much. I had a lot to learn. So I dove into that, and I ignored my blog because of that. And so, like I said, I'm very grateful for the followers I have. And I'll get back to it. What I'm learning is that, and once I overcame my fear of doing these videos, it is so much easier to talk what I have to say than it is to actually think about and write it. And that's only because I have to edit while I write. I can't just write. I can just write, but I don't really get in the flow state of writing without having to kind of jump back and edit, and then I think of other things and I bounce around. And so for me, although I love writing, I find that it's more time consuming and it's more difficult for me, and especially with my eyes. If you've read any of my texts, or if you're unfortunate enough to actually get text messages from me, it's why I love the tool called Voxer, Voxer. I can just push a button and talk into it. Now, I know you can do that with your phone and things. You can talk into it, but you still have to edit it. And for me, that's hard because the phone doesn't understand my voice. I know that voice technology will continue to get better, and we will be able to just speak into things. So that's why I like this Voxer app, because my messages, my text messages, my posts, my daughter said the other day, or just yesterday, I put a Instagram post up, and I always seem to hit the A's and S's. I get them mixed up. So it was supposed to say, what am I creating now? And it said, what am I cresting now? Because the A was an S. And she's like, what were you trying to say with this? Cresting. What are you cresting now? And I'm like, I do that all the time. And it's because even with my magnifying glass, I still miss the different letters sometimes. I'm not making an excuse. I still do things. But I know there's a whole slew of people out there that are saying, oh my God, this woman's an idiot because she can't even spell check or text or do things. And if they know me and they've heard my story at all, maybe they cut me some slack. But if they don't, it's my way of filtering out the people that are judgmental like that, aren't the kind of people that can relate to me. So they shouldn't be listening to me anyway. And what's funny about that is I used to be that person. I used to be that person that would notice spelling errors and in a nice way, tell people, hey, I think you mean T-O-O, not T-O, or T-W-O, not T-O-O. And I haven't been that way for, I don't know, probably a long time, at least 15, 20 years. And I wouldn't do it very often, but every once in a while, if it was somebody I knew and cared about, I would make sure that they knew they'd made a mistake. Now that I make those mistakes, I realize that maybe they made the mistake and it didn't matter because it's their message that matters. And I like to think my message is more important than me making a mistake and typos. And, people that know me have figured out. And actually, it's sort of a game with my family members. They're like, what the heck are you trying to say in this message? And it's a game for them. It's like a word puzzle for them to figure out what keys I hit by mistake on my phone. If they're lucky, I answer on my computer because I can blow my screen up really big. So that's what I'm working on today. I'm working on catching up since my father's passed away and all my grandfathers have passed away, and I'm divorced. The only father I really care about is my son, and he's not going to be spending Father's Day with me today, so it gets to be a quiet catch-up day for me. And as you know, I've needed those catch-up days lately. So today I'm committed to knocking out my script to catch up with the book on the script and my lessons in that, and I'll continue to do that. I'm committed to doing my daily Facebook Lives and posting to the groups that I've committed to doing. I'm in a mastermind team where we have committed a group of us. I think there's 7 or 8 of us left out of almost 40 that started out with a group that is committed to doing a Facebook Live every day for the group. And I discovered the other day that I can, if I save them on my phone as a group, I can push the button and I can actually go live in the group. I don't have to create and use one of these videos. So they don't have to listen to me rambling for 20 minutes or doing the daily scare share if they don't care about that. I can actually talk to the people in that group, which is really fun, and it's a different, evolving project. The thing about doing anything for 365 days is you hone your skill. You get so good at it, and you learn how to speak to the audience. We're learning the technological things and the different ways of doing creative things with respect to doing Facebook Lives by sharing with one another. Things that I never would have found by myself because I never would have looked for them because I found a way that works for me and I just go with it until I see something that makes me say, oh, I can do that too. I should improve that. And so some of the people in the group are doing really fun things with framing and graphics and headlines for their videos, and I need to learn how to do those things. So down the road, you'll probably see those from me, or I will find somebody that can do them for me, which is probably the right answer. I will commit right now to finding someone that can do those things for me. It's like why my podcast doesn't have an intro to it, intro music, or an introduction, or an outro. They're called outros apparently, an outtake or a call to action yet, because I don't know how to do that. And I haven't decided yet that it's important enough. I haven't gotten happy enough with what I do on my podcast to feel like I have to put a front and a back on it to make it professional for people. And I will. I can tell you right now, there's one coming down the road. I just haven't decided what I want to do with that. And so until I decide on my voice, until I know what I want to do, until I really commit to the direction I'm going with my life and how I'm going to show up in the world, I don't want to put that on that. Now, it's already a Pajama Grandma podcast, so I guess I've committed part way to that, and I'm doing it and taking action in it. But as long as I haven't decided on that, I don't want to go out and learn how to be a professional podcaster. That's not what I'm doing with my podcast or how I want to show up with that in the world. I just want to be able to talk to more people and interact and share with more people what's possible for them. Not just for me, just for them. Because I'm doing my own thing. It doesn't matter what I do. It matters what you do and how you show up in your life and how you experience it. So I'm working on that. But there's things like that I will learn, or I will decide I'm not going to learn and I will have someone else do it for me. But I know those are directions I want to go with how I'm showing up in the world. And sometimes they'll be more professional, but they're going to be my form of professional. They're going to be Pajama Grandma professional. They're not going to be corporate America professional anymore. I've left that world behind. Been there, done that. I for sure could coach people on how to successfully navigate their corporate careers, but I don't want to. I honestly believe that everyone should, if that's your route and that gives you a sense of security, I believe you should do that wholeheartedly and give it your all. But I personally believe that everybody should also have, at least everybody in America, should also have some kind of a side business or a side thing that they're doing that they're passionate about for several reasons that I'm not going to get into because I've already been talking forever. But maybe another day I'll talk about why I believe that. Anyway, I'm going to drink some more coffee and start typing that script up because that's the thing I want to do the least today. So it's the thing I'm going to do first today, even before I process my videos. And I never do that. I always process them first. But I'm going to make myself do what I don't want to do the most today so that I get it done. All right, have an awesome day. I'll, of course, see you tomorrow with what's she up to now. And I want to promise that I won't talk this much, but you never know. Depends on the day. Bye.